The only thing more ancient than these guitar strings is the sage life advice that we call pro tips. So I'm going to hit you with a guitar pro tip right here that is something that worked out for me. I use this live all the time. I also use this in my original music and arrangements and compositions. And it really comes down to just kind of taking basic chords, making them a little bit fancier to kind of make them sound better, okay? So we're going to take a regular chord progression that's going to go A minor to G to C major, okay? So I'm looking at this as a 6, 5, 1 in the key of C. So maybe to switch it up, we do this. Okay, so if you blinked, you might have missed it. But basically when I say 6, 5, 1, those are just the numbers in a scale, right? In any scale, there are 7 notes, 6 major chords. The first, fourth, and fifth notes become major chords. The second, third, and sixth notes become minor chords. So in the key of C, C major is the 1 chord, D minor is the 2 chord, E minor is 3, F major is 4, G major is 5, A minor is 6, and then we kind of have a B diminished one that not a lot of people use, but we're going to get to that in future pro tips. But I want to talk specifically about any time you encounter a 6 to a 5, which is all the time in a lot of different songs. A lot of the shows that I play are kind of like acoustic duo, which have a lot of covers, and so I see this all the time, and this is something I gravitate towards, where if you want to make, anytime you see A minor to a G major, for one example, then we're going to do more in a second, you can replace that with these 2 chords, which make it seem a little bit just kind of fancier, right? We're going to fancy it up, and it's really good practice for using different chord voicings, okay? So this A minor right here, this basic A minor, which are for tools and beginners, we're replacing with an A minor 11 chord. Really, it's not even a bar chord. It's pretty easy to play. Our root note is your middle finger on the 5th fret of the low E string. There's our root note, A. We're going to skip the A string. You can actually get the A string in this because it's in A minor. But we're going to, as far as movable shapes are concerned, we're going to skip the A string. Ring finger is going to grab that minor 7, that flat 7, 5th fret on the D string. Pinky is going to grab the 5th fret on the G string. So far we have kind of like an A minor 7, and then your pointer finger is going to grab the D on the B string, 3rd fret of the B string. Okay, so right there. Anytime you see that minor, like a minor chord, you can always try putting a minor 11 chord on top of it in replacement of it, and it sounds a little bit different, okay? Now the nice thing about this is when you're going from a 6 to a 5 chord, right? So like A minor to G major, you can actually replace the G also with a very similar sounding chord, which we're kind of going for the sound of 11s here. The nice thing about this transition is it's not too bad to make because you pivot on your pinky. Your pinky stays here the entire time, which a lot of times if maybe just getting into some more extended chords, the pinky is the one that gives us a lot of trouble because, you know, these are like the power fingers right here, and everybody forgets about this guy. So this is nice because your pinky can just bank here, just post up on the 5th fret of the G string. Now around this, you're gonna form a G, you can look at it as like a G7 bar chord with your pinky down there. So when you play it like this, it's gonna be 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 3. Okay, those are all the frets. Now we can look at this as like a G11 chord because basically it's a G7, G dominant 7 with your pinky right here, which is a C, okay? So the nice thing about this is being able to go from here and then just lift it up into a G chord, a G7 chord, so. Which is normally gonna lead us back home to the 1 chord, C major, okay? So instead of A minor, G, C, we've got alright, now you can do this in absolutely any key. Let's take the key of D, for instance, okay? Let's find a 6, 5, 1 in the key of D. So, D is our 1 chord. We can go through the scale. We can find out that the 6th note, or the 6th chord in the key of D is a B minor, which means the 5 chord is going to be A, A7, if you're nasty, and then home. Everything we just did, we just moved down to the corresponding note. So if we start on that 6th note in the key of D, we have a B, right? 7th fret. Everything just goes here now. B minor, A major, fancier than using 11 chords, minor 11 chords, major 11-ish, you know, with the 7 here, chords. It'll really impress your friends, and that's what pro tips are all about. Impressing people, making them think you're a pro when maybe you even are a pro, but, you know, doing it in a way that isn't super daunting. And also just kind of a great introduction into extended chords and thinking of chords as scale degrees. Remember, a 6, a 5, and a 1. Doesn't even always have to be a 1. Sometimes it sounds cool if you go to a different chord in the key, like especially, let's go back to the key of C, right, where we had the A minor to the G. We don't always have to go to a C after this G, right? We can actually keep descending down maybe to an F, okay? If you wanna just tantalize the listener and just avoid that C major chord, which I try to do as often as possible, I think that sounds a lot more interesting to my ear than just A minor, G, F. Which again, don't make things complicated for the sake of making them complicated, because there's nothing wrong with playing open chords. Sometimes that's exactly what the style you're going for is calling for. But I think it's a great idea just to be aware of some of the things that you can do with extended chords in different hand positions within certain chord progressions. So anyway, that is the pro tip for today. And if there are any more pro tip suggestions you'd like to see me cover and tackle, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks a lot.